It's time to take a look at getting started with the Black Templars, the righteous crusaders themselves. Steve, who are the Black Templars? I know they hold a special place in your heart.
Now, the Black Templars are somewhat a chapter in their own right now, but going back many, many years ago, they were actually part of the Imperial Fists chapter.
So they're what we would call a successor chapter, right?
Hey, whoa, we're not going to go.
Touched a nerve, did I?
No, they essentially are on their own path. Okay. And back in, look, my lore knowledge might not be incredible, so if I get any bits wrong, please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But as far as I'm aware, reading most of the heresy novels, so the Crusaders, back when it was the Horus Heresy, the Emperor didn't really want to be seen to be like a god.
Yeah, he didn't want people to believe the gods exists.
Yeah, and he didn't really like this kind of idea of like worship and faith and the rest of it, right? Now, Euphrates Keeler came along.
I remember good old Euphrates.
And gave a lot of like inspiration and hope to a lot of people. And really, she set Sigismund down the path of where he then came and then formed essentially the Black Templars. So Sigismund was the first captain of the Imperial Fists.
Back when it was a legion.
Back when it was a legion, So you had Dawn, obviously the Primarch, and Sigismund was first captain, okay? And Sigismund is by far my favourite ever character. He is the most disciplined, the most determined, and just executes the job without fail. To the point where he led essentially a task force to lead all the other like broken heroes of the Horus Heresy to go down and hunt and destroy each of the captains of...
it was the Mournival, wasn't it, for the Sons of Horus?
Yeah, those and some of the other big name sort of characters, as it were, like Khan the Betrayer. And Sigismund was just kind of known as somebody that you would never beat in a challenge. He was never beaten in one-to-one combat.
The ultimate swordsman.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's like, I don't know if ultimate swordsman would be the best way to describe him.
Okay, yeah.
I would say he was more like the perfect warrior.
Sure.
Because you had like, you got people like Lucius the Eternal, who probably is the best swordsman. But out of the two, Sigismund's taking him down all day long.
Well, yeah, I mean...
And you got like Khan the Betrayer, who is just incredible on the battlefield.
They were good friends as well, weren't they?
Well, they were actually, and I could have got this wrong, but basically when they're in, I forget the name of it now, when they're basically training.
In the Conqueror, which was the World Eater's flagship, right? There's like the gladiator fights.
Yes, exactly, between Adeptus Astartes or sometimes between Primarchs or whatever. They were actually sworn battle brothers.
Yeah. So
they would be, imagine going to the arena and you're fighting against Khan the Betrayer and Sigismund.
You're screwed.
Yeah.
You're screwed.
You ain't, that is a 20-0 situation.
Yeah.
You ain't coming out of that one alive, right?
Yeah.
But Sigismund, he's different. He just doesn't lose in a one-to-one challenge. In Euphrates, there was a moment where he basically was walking towards 100 legionaries. And Euphrates Keeler was like, is he mad? He's going to die, basically. Or I think it was somebody of Euphrates Keeler's party. And somebody said, well, he's never been beaten in a one-to-one challenge. And they were like, but there's 100. And then someone commented, well, there's just 100 one-to-one challenges. And that's him. Like, he is just silent in the way that he operates. Khan the Betrayer and actually him had this massive brawl. And Khan the Betrayer was basically trying to get him to talk and say something like, and Sigismund just wouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
He just absolutely destroyed him.
Yeah.
Without even, there's this bit as well where there's this like really gruesome like Death Guard leader. And it's the narrative is like he's going through killing all these like, hero sort of good, or whatever you want to call
Loyalists.
it. Loyalists. We'll say that, not good. I don't want to get into politics. And how he's beating them all up and everything. He's ferocious. And then next thing you hear is, and there's somebody walking towards me with their sword down by their side. They don't have a helmet on. Next thing you know, whoosh, Death Guard head rolls off. That was it, just done. Like one strike.
Yeah.
He's brilliant. And basically, Ephrata Tequila was like, you are, your task is to become the Emperor's champion. And there was a lot of conflict actually between him and Dawn.
Yeah, I remember that in the Heresy.
Yeah, and they kind of a little bit of friction started to create, but yeah, so that was like the very beginning, I think, of the Black Templars, basically.
The scene that springs to mind with Sigismund in particular is when Fulgrim's on the top of the wall and is like toying with that like Imperial fist that's lost its legs and whatever and trying to crawl away, and then Sigismund just jumps on his back and just stabbing him. It just in my mind, it reminds me of that Tropic Thunder scene with the kid that's stabbing him on the back.
Haven't seen that one.
Okay, well, if anyone else has, that's just what it reminded me of. But Sigismund, no fear, goes up to a demon Primarch.
Who cares?
And it's just like, I'm going to take you down.
Well, of course you will. He's Sigismund.
Yeah, but then you have Rogel Dawn, who was a beast as well.
Yeah.
But you can, like, I see what you're saying, like, as Sigismund then exemplifies that pure, that righteous warrior.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, once he becomes, like, more religious and starts to believe in the Emperor as a god.
He believes in the faith.
In the faith, exactly. And I think that now translates, like, Black Templars, I would say, are what 40k has become in terms of what the Space Marine ideology is of this, like everyone now worships the Emperor. They all want to kill every Xenos, mutant, heretic. Whereas in the Heresy, everyone looked at it very differently.
Yeah.
And the Templars now are that epitome of Warhammer 40k, the Imperium as a whole, right?
Yeah, but the interesting thing is, obviously, they don't follow the Codex Astartes.
No.
They're just like, what's his book called? Gulliman wrote, we ain't sticking to that, we've got our own way. And they're very much set on their own path, and they're constantly crusading.
Yeah, the Crusade fleets are they don't have a home world like when we did the Space Wars. You have Fenris, and that's where all the Space Wolves are. And that said, Fortress Monastery. The Black Templars are a crusading fleet, and they have a Space Marine chapter is normally 1,000.
Yes,
it's normally 1,000 Marines, and then that's a chapter, and you can't go above that. Whereas Templars have way more than 1,000 Marines, and have it spread across the entire galaxy on these crusading fleets.
Yeah.
Which makes them very deadly.
Oh, they're extremely deadly. Yeah, extremely deadly.
Yeah, and
there can only be one Emperor's Champion.
Yes, and this is where we come on to characters, right?
Yeah.
So we've got Sigismund, the Horus Heresy was 10,000 years ago, so Sigismund has passed on.
Sigismund was actually waiting for Abaddon to come back.
Yes.
But obviously Abaddon cheated, so managed to get the better of him.
But that was a cool conflict, actually.
Yeah.
In terms of lore and books, what are some of the ones you would recommend for people to get into Templars?
So the Horus Heresy, the Siege of Terror, is great because it kind of shows you the evolution of Sigismund. But obviously it's only little snippets here and there. I've read a few short stories about Sigismund as well, and they were okay. You've got... I'm reading The Talons of Horus at the moment.
Okay.
And I think that is the book where...
Sigismund fights,
but I haven't got to that point yet. I'm only like the first few hours.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. And then, of course, you've got Hell's Reach.
Well, this is the modern history, or the current lore of the Templars. So we've touched on that briefly. We've got the Emperor's Champion, who is obviously an epic hero for the Black Templars. You've got Helbeck, Grimaldus. What's the current setting with them?
Well, you've got, so the Emperor's Champion isn't a character in the sense that he's like, this is Dave.
Okay, so he's not a named character.
He's not a named character.
Interesting.
So what happens, spoiler alert, in
Hell's Reach?
Hell's Reach, it's all about Grimaldus. And he is, I believe, the youngest of his kind.
Of chaplains.
Yeah. He's the High Chaplain.
Yeah.
There's a High Reclusiarch, I think it's called.
Reclusiarch, yeah.
And it's really interesting because with Black Templars, they've got different names for apothecaries and also tech marines. So they're different, somewhat, you can tell there's a distinct different. You have like marshals and castellans instead of captains. So their sort of makeup is different. But the Emperor's Champion goes down in battle. Right. And then Grimaldus looks at one of his sword brethren, and he's like, pick up the sword. You are the Emperor's Champion. So it's you adorn the armor, you wield the sword, you are now this like living incarnation of essentially Sigismund, is the best way I can probably say it.
Yeah, so epic.
So the sword in the armor is passed down. to the next best Emperor's, or who is worthy to become the Emperor's champion.
And you mentioned Sword Brethren, and Sword Brethren, after what I was reading up, are like they're the veterans, but they do multiple tasks in the Black Templars. They either are leading novitiates and aspirants coming up, and you'll see that in game as well with your Crusaders. They are like basically bodyguards for characters. So they're like they'll be the ones that hang around with like Helbrecht and stuff like that. And again, you can do that in game, but they're like literally the epitome of veterans and the best of the best for Black Templars.
It's like the ultimate where you can reach, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then you become the Emperor's champion, which is the ultimate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and obviously we've got you got Grimaldus, who's a huge character in the game, but then you've also got Helbrecht as well. So
touching on to Helbrecht then. So what is his lore?
So he's like the chapter master. So he's like your Guilliman equivalent, basically. Now he's someone that I really want to find out more about. So if you've got any great recommendations, do let me know on books.
I know he led the war at Armageddon. He led the fleet. But I also read that so if you play Crusade, you'll probably know this because it's in a new book that came out with Angron and the Grey Knights, that I know in the current lore, he's leading a Templars Crusade on Armageddon again. He's very present on Armageddon. And Armageddon, look, for all you Black Templars fans, I have an orc shirt on here. Okay, I know.
So there was a bit, years gone back, there was this book with Ghazghkull Thraka and the Emperor's Champion. They were like the two big kind of face-off. In the book, I remember the cover art as well. Is this Emperor's Champion like stabbing.
Well, it's actually a model, isn't it?
It is now.
I can't remember what the model's called. But it was like a limited edition model where the Templars going straight into the York knob. In
that is a actually in Hell's Reach.
Nice.
That sort of scene, So so the Black Templars, they fight along the Steel Legion at Armageddon. And also the Salamanders as well. They've got a part to play. And I don't want to give too much away of the book, but you know, like all the things that follow Grimaldus, the models. You've got one with a flag. You got one with like a pillar. Basically a part of the section. Then other ones got some other bits and bobs he's holding. So there's a very last stand at Hell's Reach. And you got waves and waves of orcs and everything else coming. And you've also got the Sisters of Battle there. I can't remember which. I think it might have been some sort of order. I can't remember which one it was now. But they're all there, like defending this final sort of monastery. And what the people do is they actually give parts of that monastery to Grimaldus
and his crew.
Yeah, so he gets all those things after. That's how he gets all those.
That's cool. That is
elements. Yeah,
I like it. Yeah, the whole like with Templars, all the hunting down anyone who's ever done something wrong to the Imperium. They're there as the ultimate avengers, effectively of the Imperium. They go. That's what the whole point in the Crusade fleet. I
think that's kind of why I like Sigismund so much, is because I don't know. I feel like that's the person. If I could be any of the characters, I feel like that's who I'd be as Sigismund.
Yeah, sure.
So how I've kind of like the things that I appreciate in life.
You can see that in Sigismund.
Yeah. I'd want to be Sigismund.
Yeah. I can see that. Well, I think the Templars have such a cool, rich lore, and like you said, we got Hell's Reach, any of the lore on Armageddon, because they're very, very prominent, big and prominent in that story, and then the heresy stories, looking for the Imperial Fist stories and stuff. That's where you'll find the most on it.
Yeah.
Now, in game, a lot of what we just said is translated into 40k and how the Black Templars play. As part of their identity is this. They're combat heavy, right? And they have all this, all these units and these characters are really, they bring out the identity of the army, right?
They do, yeah.
If we take a look at how they function, or what would be your first starting points as a Templar? The combat patrol obviously is a lot of people's first thoughts.
Yeah.
Would you say that's a great starting point for a Templar player?
At Vanguard Tactics, it's our pleasure to be sponsored by the Army Painter. Army Painter really excel at getting your models onto the tabletop super fast. With their tools, their different paint ranges from speed paints, air paints, primers, and fanatic range, they're going to help you get awesome results. So whether you're painting Space Wolves, Blood Angels, Ultramarines, Dark Angels, or Emperor's Children, there'll be a paint range perfect for you. so you can spend less time painting and more time playing, and that's why we love the Army Painter. So what is in the new one?
So in the new one, we got the Emperor's Champion.
Okay.
We have a box of Sword Brethren, so we have 5 Sword Brethren.
Yeah, great.
3 Blade Guard.
Okay.
And then we got 10 Crusaders.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a great place to start. The Blade Guard are an interesting one because there isn't really many characters that can actually lead them.
Okay.
From Black Templars. So you'll need to supplement in with, like, if you did want them led, then a captain or a lieutenant with a shield, obviously. But they look such like an iconic Black Templar unit.
Yeah.
They just don't really... I think there's like one list I've written with Black Templar, with Blade Guard in.
Okay, sure.
But for the most part, I think Crusaders and also... your Sword Brethren are just better, but I think that's a good place to start. I mean, I would be happy with that. You can utilise a lot of different functionalities there, yeah.
And then the Emperor's Champion.
Yes.
Now, I think when you start an army, it's always important to find out one piece that you absolutely love, whether it's part of the lore that we just said.
He goes, for me, he's in.
Yeah, he's your favourite, right?
Yeah, I would have him in pretty much every single list.
Okay.
Yeah. Even if, to be honest, he's one of those pieces, though, even if he wasn't great, he would still make my list.
Because you love the model and the character so much.
Because I love the model, yeah.
Yeah, I think, but this is it. This is where, as a new Black Templars player, you need to identify what you appreciate about that faction or what character it is, whether it's Helbrecht or whether, because Helbrecht's model's really cool. Obviously, he's got his 2 like little servitors cleaning his sword off and there's a dead orc underneath him. Grimaldus is really cool. You mentioned he's got his little buddies around him as well. So yeah, we've got a plethora of characters that we can really pick from.
Yeah.
Which one would you then recommend, or what would you recommend buying next? What are some of the essentials then?
So, you could go in multiple different ways here. I think Assault Intercessors are great as well. So you could have like just 5 Assault Intercessors with, in a lot of the lists I've written, I've got 5 Assault Intercessors with Helbrecht and 5 Assault Intercessors with the Emperor's Champion.
And what's the reason for that?
Because they get the reroll wounds when they're fighting on objectives. They're quite cost efficient. You can get 1 box and you can then make 2 units. So for their points, whereas Crusaders, you have to take in 10-man units.
Yep.
Whereas these, you can take in 5, so then you can either put them together in a bigger transport or you could put them solo in smaller transports.
Okay.
So it means you've got a little bit more flexibility. Also, because they bolster the Emperor's Champion or they bolster Helbrecht, it means then when you're actually in the battle, they don't have to, you're not putting a huge amount of points somewhere. It's like, here's a good amount of points, but it should do the job.
So would you say that a transport's necessary for Templars to kind of, as like a beginning step, like an impulsor potentially, or a repulsor? You
know, if you get either a Land Raider Crusader, I can't even believe I'm saying that, or a repulsor executioner, or an impulsor, any of those options are great. There is some utilization there where I've written, obviously for the How to Play course of Black Templars, we go over each detachment in this book and also the detachment that came out of Grotmus. I've even looked at a list for if you were to play a Codex detachment. I think all of those pretty much contain at least a transport or 2.
Cool.
The repulsor is pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Land Raiders are great.
Well, we're going to come on to the next bit about, in terms of how we look at the How to Play courses when we look at SWOT analysis and things. We'll talk about it in the gameplay side of things. But painting Black Templars, now, it seems easy because it's just painting black armor.
Black's not easy to paint.
No, and nor is white.
No, black is not easy to paint well as well. So you can either do black and edge highlight, and that takes a long, long time to get really, really good at. Personally, I think the airbrush is brilliant for painting black. It really is. You can just do like black all over and then add a little bit of like a sort of bluey grey colour to the black, and then just do some like sort of highlights down on the top of the head, the shoulder pads and stuff, top of the kneecaps where the light would fall. And then if you then want to pick out some edges, a very quick dry brush with a sort of even or just like flatter grey blue with a little bit of black in it, then you can put all that over. And if you needed to tidy up any areas, you could with a speed paint black or something all over, and that would kind of give it a nice finish, bit of a satin varnish, and they're gonna look good.
Yeah, I really like the matte black from Army Painter, actually.
Yes, yeah.
The matte black has been my favourite black to use.
Start there and then add that little bit of that grey and just pick up some of those little highlights and you'll be pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you want to cheat as well when you're painting your Black Templars?
Go on then.
So a lot of the time you'll see the iconic white shoulder pads. White is very difficult to paint on a black model. Right, okay, yeah. So go for red. Red on the shoulder pads. A bit like here, you've got a bit of red there, red, white and black. Mm-hmm. I'd do like red crosses and red on the trim of the like shoulder pads. And that way it's much, much easier. Maybe separate the shoulder pads before you glue it on? You could. Spray them white? You could do that, but that not everybody likes the paint sub-assembly. Sure. In the eternal war between order and chaos, it's the details that define champions. Baron of Dice, forged for true commanders. Precision crafted, faction focused and trusted by us at Vanguard Tactics, because fairness, balance and integrity matter in every game. These aren't just dice, they're your allegiance, your legacy in your hands. Roll with honour, roll with purpose, Baron of Dice. Okay, then if we move on to gameplay. Yes. Now, what we're going to look at here is top units to fulfill certain roles. Okay. And then we're going to take a look at a 1,000 point list. Yeah. And give you some options of where you can expand from there, just to help you get started if you wanted just a quick, easy way with some guaranteed units to fulfill these 5 roles we talk about. All right then. So on our courses, we always talk about, we've got 5 different roles we need to fulfill. One of them is killing horde units. So large amount of models in a unit, or maybe 2 models, right? Then we've got elite units. These are tough, like, Terminators, Blade Guard, 3 wounds each, sort of thing. Tyranid Warriors, yeah. Tyranid Warriors. Then we've got vehicles and tanks and monsters. That's the higher toughness end. Then we've got a hold primary, and then we've got to score secondary cards. So we've got these 5 roles. Could you give me a unit for each of these roles for a Black Templar player? Ooh, so what I'm normally looking at, let's get the easy ones out of the way. Yeah. Scouts. Yeah. You know, the great thing about Templars is that they actually have what they're called, like, you've got novitiates, and they're actually part of the Crusaders anyway. You've got novitiates, and then also the other name Neophytes. Neophytes, yeah. Because you also kind of get your scouts as part of the units, actually having scouts on the table looks kind of cool and really thematic. So yeah, a couple of units of scouts is great for scoring all those different secondaries for you, along with your transports. Transports really buddy up to do that. So an impulsor, yeah, or maybe like a lone operative lieutenant could be quite good. So yeah, scouts, lone operative lieutenant, or your transports are going to play the mission for you really, really well. Yeah. You've then also got ways in the book as well to be able to advance and do actions, which is pretty cool. Yeah, true. They're very unique to the Templars, actually. Yep. So that certainly helps. Holding your primary. Okay, so this is where it gets. Intercessors. This is where it gets sticky. This is where it gets a bit sticky, yeah. Intercessors are great for holding your backfield. Objective. Again, like depending on which detachment you go, you're going to have to do this in different ways. Some of the lists I've written have got 20 strong Crusader units. They hold a primary very well. Yeah. They just like, hey, this is ours. You ain't touching this. We've got at least 40. You've got 40 OC on this. This is ours. All right. Yeah. So look, they're extremely good. But yeah, intercessors double up a couple of transports on the same objective. Yeah, that's how you kind of hold those. Now, killing horde. All right, your Crusaders. Yes. The Crusader units, sustained hits on their chainsword, loads of attacks. You can get them with critical hits on 5s. These units, mass attacks, pick up kind of a lot of horde units you need to. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. These are really, really nice. Now, elite killers. Okay, so elite killers, Emperor's Champion. Elite killers, Helbrecht. Yeah. Pretty much any of your characters are great at killing elite units. And then you can add in the sword brethren to just give that little bit of extra helping hand. Yeah. So your sword brethren and your characters are going to kill all your elite enemies you're ever going to need. Yeah, absolutely. I think melee factions in particular usually do quite well into elite factions. Yeah. Because they have a lot of damage 2 weapons and damage 3 weapons. Exactly. It's the damage 3 that really starts to come in from some of these characters or enhancements. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And then when it comes to destroying vehicles. Yep. Emperor's Champion. Emperor's Champion. Helbrecht. Yeah. No, so actually here is where you need, from range, ballistic dreadnoughts, land raiders with Godhammer las cannons.
Or your gladiators, because you have special ones in here.
Yes, yeah, they're okay. Like the Valiant is okay.
Yeah.
But for me, the way you kill tanks is Sword Brethren with Marshal and Castellan. That combination there, that's a 7-team unit. You could even have it as a 6-team unit, but 7-team ideally. You get 4 rerolls to hit. The weapons already have lethal built in.
Yep.
Now you're getting crit quits on 5s. So you fish for 5s. Whatever it isn't a 5, you re-roll into more 5s, and you just watch your enemies dissipate in front of your face. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the critical 5s and the lethals is very
and the
good, isn't
re-rolls,
it?
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then obviously we've got Vows that really boost us up. So the Vow system, again,
You can have
done
+1 to wound against units that are tougher than you're strong.
Yeah.
So again, leaning into that as well. So yeah, you've got lots of different options, but most of this is coming from combat. But having what I like in the list is a little bit of shooting, just to kind of give it a bit of support, just so that your opponent has to respect you to step back a bit.
Yeah.
And then that gives you that freedom to push in terrain, hide, and then jump out and attack, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we'll cover a lot more of the tactical nuances on the courses, but in terms of the Templars gameplay, you've mentioned all the units that we want to kind of look out for when we're starting to build lists. Now, the army rule, if we look at the army rule then as how it functions and how that actually fits the theme of Black Templars, because having the law go inside with rules it always gives flavour to a faction. I think this codex in particular gives a lot of that to the Black Templars.
Yes.
How do the vows translate from the law side of things, and also how do they work in game?
Yeah, so you've got that feeling, look, we're going to accept any challenge. Whether we're against psychers, we've got a vow for that. We've got to kill tough things, we've got a vow for that. If we just need to focus on, playing the mission, we can do that as well. So it gives you a whole host of variety. And then you've got the detachments where if you really want to lean into the Land Raiders and the Land Raider Crusaders, you've got detachments for those. The new iconic model with the new ancient, you could lean into that approach, which I've definitely got a cool list for. You want to go into the sort of more traditional with chaplains or execrators, as they're called, and some marshals and castellans. There's ways for that. So, or you can have a super fast army as well with the Grotmus detachment with extra move, and then really feel like them running across the table. And I've got a very fast list.
The righteous zeal of the Crusades.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you've got that customization and just great. It's awesome.
Yeah, it is. I think it's one of the most flexible army rules you have out there,
It's
really.
good. Yeah.
But one of them I want to touch upon for law reasons as well is the abhor the witch one.
Yes.
Templars hate psychers.
Yeah, they do. They don't like them very much. Yeah.
No. What's the story there?
I couldn't actually tell you the original origin story of why they hate psychers so much.
No?
I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Well, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, let us know. What book do we need to go back and read to find out that? Obviously, I don't know whether it stems from, Magnus tearing apart the defense against the...
Potentially, yeah.
I don't know whether it stems from that. I don't really understand. I don't know their hatred as to why they don't have librarians. Because that's one of the things, you can't take librarians.
Yeah, you can't. There's no magic in this army at all, psychic as it is in 40k. But I know Rogue Dawn obviously followed with the Council of Nicaea, which is something back in the Horus Heresy, or before the Heresy in the Great Crusade, when the Emperor banned psychers from the Legiones Astartes. And I know that Rogue Dawn was one of those that actually said, all my psychers get locked away. They're not coming out. But
it's then interesting that he fought alongside Garrow, Sigismund.
Yeah. Well, I don't think, this is something...
Because Garrow was the first Grey Knight.
Yeah. And he was a Death Guard as well. He was originally a Death Guard.
Yeah, and also the librarian that used to fight with him that unfortunately, because he uses his sword, doesn't he? His force weapon.
Who was it?
It passes it on. It's pretty cool.
Remember, yeah, but yeah, I think overall they have that hatred for psychers, which translates into rules as well. So I think overall there's a lot of cool translations from the law to the rules.
Yeah.
There's also one other thing, which is the Primaris Marines.
Yes.
Being included now. Obviously, we had this period in 40k where Primaris Marines became a big thing, and they started to translate from the firstborn Marines. The Templars didn't like that very much when it first happened, did they?
Well, nobody likes change, do they?
Well, true.
But
true.
obviously, they're doing all right because of it. So
True, yeah, everything's Primaris now. So.
they're like, we've seen these lads get a bit of improvements. We'll have some of that.
Yeah. I'll have what he's having. yeah.
He looks a bit bigger and stronger. I'll level up a little bit. So you can't blame him. If you can't beat him, join him.
True. Very true. But
and the models are brilliant as well.
Well, this is something I think with the Templars. With obviously you mentioned the Ancient. You can have it modelled with an orc skull on there that has Armageddon on there as well, which is...
It is really, truly, like the Sword Brethren models are my favourite Space Marines ever created.
Okay.
There's nothing that comes close to those. They are like the epitome of knights.
It's the bowl cuts that really...
It's the sharpness to the armour.
Yeah.
I personally don't feel like this is the best artwork of the Codex.
Yeah, sure.
It's not grimdark enough for me.
Yeah, the helmet.
Yeah, it looks
really
a bit
yeah.
derpy from the side there, personally.
There's the bowl cut.
Yeah. I'm not sure I'd go for that haircut personally. There's definitely better ones.
I don't know. Next stream.
Bowl
I'll
cut.
go for the haircut.
Bowl cut it. Yeah. But no, it's the Sword Brethren models are quite something. Yeah.
All right. Well. You said we've got a list that we can go over.
Oh
here.
yeah, which one do you want? I've got loads.
Well, you give us one that you think would be a great entry point. If someone wanted to pick up a Templars army, like 1,000 points,
yeah, okay,
and they can go, boom, I want to start here.
Because we've got the Ancients detachment, we've got the Transport detachment, we've got the Grotmus detachment, and we've got the Champions detachment.
So, if someone's...
Companions detachment, sorry.
What would you say is the best starter detachment?
I'll go with a mix.
Okay.
Okay, so... I'll go for the Companions detachment, all right? Because this, for me, has got a bit of everything. And I've basically got, in this list, you've basically got 2 of everything.
Right.
So you just need half of this, and we're halfway there.
Halfway there.
So, for example, you've got like a unit of Incestors to hold your backfield. You've got a unit of Scouts. Well, there's actually 2. I'm going to give you half the list, okay?
Yeah.
But just assume it's roughly doubled. So 1 unit of Scouts. You've got 1 Execrator,
Nice.
okay? We've got a Marshal. You've got to have both of these. Helbrecht and an Emperor's Champion. And then I've got Assault Incestors to go with both of them. I got a unit of Crusaders, because the Extricate is going to go with the Crusaders to give them advance in charge.
10 or 20?
Just 10.
Just 10.
Okay. I've then got an Impulsor. I've got 5 Sword Bros. That's going to go with the Marshal. We've got, I said an Impulsor, didn't we? We've got a Repulsor to put the Crusaders in.
Nice.
So it's got a bigger transport capacity.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So,
brilliant.
yeah, I think if you've got the starter box, you add in an Impulsor and a Repulsor, maybe Helbrecht, some Incest and the Scouts, and you're there.
Yeah.
And the new Extricator model, because he's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think you always want to put the Extricator with the Crusaders.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. And like we said, there's always going to be a different character. Maybe you want to include. Maybe you wanted Grimaldus because you really like him from Hell's Reach, right? There's always a way you can translate that into a list like this. But like having the essentials of what we just said, fulfilling those roles.
Yeah.
When you come to building lists, is always a great way to determine what models to buy, right? To start an army.
Yeah.
Right, and then you can go to a tabletop and you know you've got everything you need.
Mm-hmm. But I literally can't wait to go over these lists on the How to Play course, because I can't wait to play them all. I don't know which one I like the best.
I had a lot of fun going through this Codex review. Like this was, even I was like, okay, this is.
Well, we'll link that above.
Yeah.
So you can check that out. And if you do want to join us on our How to Play course, maybe you're thinking about dipping your toe in with the Black Templars. Or maybe you've got like an Imperial Fist army that you also want to run it as Black Templars. I think that's kind of cool as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, do check it out. I know we're going to have loads of fun over the next few days getting that filmed. Mm-hmm. And if you're watching it before it's out, it will be on pre-order.
Yep.
And we give you a little bit of a thank you for doing so. And if you're on our Masterclass or How to Play series bundle, as soon as it's dropped, it will drop straight into your library as per usual.
Yeah.
So there we go.
There we go. That's how you get started with Black Templars. We covered a lot.
Yeah.
Now, the Templars are a very old faction in 40k, so there's a lot of lore, a lot of things that we could talk about. We could go hours on it.
It was actually the first army I ever collected, because they were in the starter box of 3rd edition, which is when I started 40k. Then I had a big gap. But the Black Templars have always had
a place in your heart.
A good place in the heart, yeah. Yeah, and I've even converted my own Helbrecht to look like old man Sigismund.
We'll have cinematics of that popping up throughout this video. You probably have already seen it multiple times.
You'll be like, that's not Helbrecht.
That's not Helbrecht. Where's
It's my
buddy?
Helbrecht.
It's your Helbrecht, yeah.
Yeah, I might actually redo that model. I could probably do a fresh paint job.
Nah, it's cool. It's really cool. But yeah, I'm excited to get stuck into this codex with you and in all the courses and even playing it on live streams and stuff.
Well, I'm going to be taking this army to LGT.
Yeah.
I didn't take them last year. I took them the year before. Might even take them to Worlds.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, guys, all of our Black Templar fans and anyone who wants to start Black Templars, put the questions down below. Let's help each other, get everyone on board with this codex and play in Black Templars and update people with lore and things, give them the best places to go if there's books we haven't mentioned.
Give us some recommendations. I want to read more, so give me recommendations of what to read,
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this video and found so much value out of it. Steve, thank you for going through that with me.
Thank you, mate.
And we'll see you in the next video.